This is the ethno-narrative for FSOS 3102, Family Systems and Diversity, for Emily Keis, Lauren Wallat, and Sophie Meads. For our project, we interviewed Daria, who was born and raised in Moscow, Russia, and recently came to the United States of America for college. She shared lots of information about life and families in Russia. Many believe in Christian Orthodox denominations. About half of all religious gathering spaces are related to the Orthodox religion. Dating and marriage is something that is very important in the Russian culture. In fact, Russians' wedding day is considered the biggest day of their lives. It is expected that men are to be extremely chivalrous towards the women, and women are expected to dress nicely to try and find a husband. Many Russians' lives are completely devoted to their families, and they get married at young ages so that they are able to start a family as soon as possible. Additionally, many women push aside their professional life to care for the family, and it is very rare to ever hear of a Russian family putting their children in daycare or having nannies. Through our interview with Daria, we learned many personal details about the culture and normal life in Russia.
I'm from Russia, from Moscow, and environment is very different. People are very different, but I would say the main difference is how open people are here, and in Moscow they're very closed and open to only their friends and family, I would say. So United States are way more diverse and way more open to other cultures and learning about them. I'd say that Russia is a pretty closed up country. Different, of course, in the way they view politics and what can happen and what can't happen in politics. And I would say different in the way families. So all my friends are already married and they're ready to settle down and have kids and whatsoever. And here people, I guess, mature later, but they stay looking and discovering options and building career instead of focusing on family, which is the main thing in Russia. Right. I come from a family of 4, just have mom, dad, and my little brother who's 12, and we're pretty close to each other, and me and my brother are best friends, so yeah. Yeah, I used to be the rebel. When I was younger, I wouldn't talk to my parents, and I thought they don't understand what's going on at all, but later I figured out that they were right all the way. It was just me being in a weird stage, which is happening to my brother right now as a teenager. But right now I'm very close to my mom. There's nothing that I can't discuss with her. So with my mom, I'm best friends. I can talk to her about everything from relationship to classes to every details of any of that. With my dad, I'm still close, but in a different way. I'm very similar to my dad, so when I talk to him, in a lot of ways he just goes, "Oh, that's me," and I'm like, okay. I don't talk to him a lot about my personal life, the relationship side of it, because he just feels weird and he's becomes overprotective, and if he thinks somebody doesn't treat me right, he just becomes way too overprotective and talks about it all the time, and I'm just stop. But I talk to him a lot about life in general and how I feel. With my brother, I'm very close friends with him. He becomes he takes more and more space since he's becoming a teenager, and he thinks he has some secrets that I can't know about, and he has some crazy life going on. But usually he tells me about main stuff, when he fell in love for the first time, he first told me. So, and with my grandparents I'm close, but as close as I can be, because being here, not talking to them that often. And we kind of communicate through my mom, but it's not that much. We play games. We play a lot of games. We just have we have long dinners when we just sit and talk after for a while. We cook together sometimes, and we watch movies every Sunday when I'm home. Yeah. well, like big families, like typical in Russia. So for every holiday, like New Year, like Easter or whatsoever, is a family thing. So we gather all together, and like I'm not gonna spend my New Year with friends. It's just not a thing.
Is it like your extended family as well?
Yeah, it's my whole family as far as everyone can get from different cities to one place. We're gonna be all together. My family is not religious, so it's different. Many other families a little bit religious. Nobody like is very religious over there. But so there's like no Sunday church or anything. Well, now since I'm here, whenever I come, there is like a mini holiday that my dad makes, like organizes for everyone. Other than we do New Year at the same place at my grandma's, by the same manner every night, and the presents are kind of always the same too. We do the first day of September as Teacher's Day because my mom is a teacher, so we throw like a big holiday for her. And every like birthday from family member, we like at night we set up like balloons and a cake, and when he or she wakes up, we like yell happy birthday, so stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, in Russia it's pretty like there's no big surprise that man brings the money to the family. The woman is like keeps the house clean and nice. So that's pretty much how it is in my family. We're a little better than that, I guess, because my dad like also takes a big part about cleaning the house, and he like always helps my mom. I always cook. When I was in high school, I cooked breakfast, I cooked dinner every day, and so I was the person who was cooking because my mom was working. My brother doesn't do anything, just useless. But it's pretty like traditional gender roles. I feel like things progress because I know that my grandpa and my grandma still sort of thinking that that man should be working and woman should be staying at home. All the men in my family are a lot helpful. My grandpa now does a lot of work around the house now that he's retired, and when he wasn't retired he would do the same. But I mean, in my family, I feel like if the first kid was a boy, the boy would help as much, just because my mom was working and she works at a school, so she has to be there at 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. So there is no way she can cook in any of this time. So I feel like if my brother was older, he would have the same duties, and now that he's grown up, he's gonna have to cook and clean and do all that. My parents cared about school until 5th grade, and then they just didn't care at all, and so that was fun. And it's different for my brother. They really put a lot of attention on his schoolwork. I think they're just bored now and they have nothing to do, so they do that. I was the one who was responsible for vacuuming, cleaning, just because I had free time, and I mean I like to clean, so I was responsible for cleaning my dog. Now he's responsible, and the dog is always dirty. And I was responsible for making breakfast and dinner. I went through a phase in high school when I would change boyfriends every 2 weeks. So at first my dad was very protective because I would go on a walk in downtown Moscow until 12 a.m. and I was 17, and my dad was that's not okay, and my mom was that's fine. But then they and I was announcing every new boyfriend to my family because I thought that's the one. And after 3 of them, my parents were whatever, we don't care anymore. So they don't care anymore. It depends on the person, but usually it's a big, huge wedding with all the relatives you can find around the world for you. And you just go to this place where you sign and you official that marriage. I don't know how this place is called, but you go there and then you take a limo, always a limo.
The courthouse?
Yeah. and then you take a limo to some like pretty place in Moscow and you take photos. And after you take photos, you have that ceremony when you put rings on, and sometimes people have somebody from the church. Usually it's like whoever they want to say that they're like wife and married now and all this stuff. And after, everyone just gets wasted in a restaurant and that's it. And then at night they should depart for honeymoon. My parents are a little bit more progressive than other people in Russia. Like sending me abroad, first of all, there are a lot of like not that much educated people in Russia who believe what the TV says and hence don't like America. So they were like, oh, you sent her to America? Like, wow.
Yeah.
So they would never do that, but they're also the kind of people who don't even care if their kids get education or whatsoever. And since my family is really not content with current political regime, we don't even have like a satellite TV in our house. We just have like TV for movies because my dad hates watching TV. But usually people like don't like maybe the regime, but they still follow, and my dad was like, I'm not okay with that. So I would say we're a little bit progressive, but otherwise very yeah. There is pretty, so I'll start from then. There is pretty everything that I want my children to keep. It's weird to think about my children. My children to think or to remember from the culture. Like, I really want them to learn the language, to like know Russian literature, to just be able to come to Russia and be like act like a Russian, because I think we have some really like good qualities, like human qualities, like where Russians are usually described as honest, like too much of an honest people. And people who, when they like open up to you, they're very warm and helpful and like be like they want to give everything to you, because they trust you. And so I learned that first of all, to like stay clean and respect myself, to surround myself and like clean after myself. My dad like never let me to like lay in bed when I'm like dressed in jeans, because he's like, you were in a subway in these jeans, like underground, and now you're in your bed. Like, no, you can't do that. So I like now when I'm doing this, I'm like feeling like my dad is watching me, so I don't do this really. So that plus respecting any labor, because to like when I was born, it was there was crisis and you couldn't get even food from like supermarkets. So my dad had to work like 4 jobs in order just to maintain me, because I was born and they like slept on the floor and I was the one sleeping on the mattress. And so he like always told me that I should respect any labor, especially like physical one. And I guess both of my parents, especially my mom was a teacher, so education is just a part that I think is very important. Just growing up and like realizing who you are, education can help you with that. Yeah, also like books, theater, like me and my mom would go to theater every Friday night at 7 o'clock, just like as a part of just like routine, and that kind of made me a different person with like different views in some way, I feel like. Oh, first thing, everyone was so nice. So like I remember first couple of days when my mom left and I was here alone, I would walk around and some random people would be like, oh my god, hi, and I'm like, I don't know you. So I never said hi, because I was like, they must be like thinking I'm somebody else. Like, why would they say hi to like a random person on the street? And so that was first. Then I like a couple of weeks later, the other thing is that people said what's up, like instead of hello. So I would be like, people would be like passing me in the hallway and they would be like, Daria, what's up? And I'm like, oh, I'm good, what about you? And they would be already like way long gone. And I would be like, okay, well, that's kind of rude. And it took me like a year to figure that out because nobody talked about it and none of my friends did it. So I was really embarrassed to ask. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep responding. And another difference is that I came not prepared to like study because in school I never studied, I realized. And then so I was like in the dorm and I was like, we're gonna have so much fun here. It's great. So, and I was having fun, and then my roommate and all my friends were like, Daria, you gotta study, like, let's study. And I'm like, what is that? And then I was like, it was phenomenal for me how they would be like, so, like, learning their syllabus by heart, like, being so on top of everything. That is still really not like me, but I got way better at everything. But the culture some Americans have about studying is just crazy to me. I mean, I think it's good. I will never be like that, but it's amazing how some kids like know from the day one what to do when, like stay on top of everything.